Chapter 94, The Most Valuable Ability 1. Zutui felt that it was very easy to experiment administering the genetic transcriptional elixir onto a clone. It seemed like he would be done after he was administered with the injection. However, Zutui still became nervous when the vial of genetic transcriptional elixir entered his bloodstream. In just a few seconds, Zutui felt his head swell with pain. It was as though someone was pumping air into his head. It was swelling with pain. His heartbeat accelerated. It was like the sound of a drum. He felt as though his heart was about to jump out of his chest. And Zhao Saxui, who was already extremely tired, injected an amine-based stimulant in her before Zutui administered the genetic transcriptional elixir. At this moment, she was standing on the medical bed that Zutui was lying on. She looked at Zutui, whose entire body was connected to various machines, with a nervous expression. Even though the clone body was extremely similar to the main body, there were still some differences. Huang, mobilize all of your calculating resources and put the surveillance on a scale of 0.1 milliseconds. Report to me immediately if there are any abnormalities and prepare a rescue plan. And Zhao Saxui was very nervous, understood. At this moment, the high-level artificial intelligence, Huang, did not say anything more. Thousands of notifications quickly appeared on the projection screens and disappeared. These were the changes to Zutui's body. How do you feel? And Zhao Saxui asked. My head feels very painful. Relax, don't be nervous. The two clones are safe. There won't be any problems. Use the mind-concentrating method you used before to visualize them. Use your consciousness to lead the way. Accept this genetic information. Communicate with them. Merge, not resist. This will greatly reduce the side effects and greatly increase the benefits you can obtain. And Zhao Saxui gently stroked Zutui's forehead with the intact fingers of her right hand. The cold sensation gave Zutui an inexplicable sense of safety. However, Zutui did not notice that his eyes, mouth, and nose were already bleeding. And Zhao Saxui was constantly wiping and comforting him. Zutui composed himself and decided to enter a meditative state. However, he could not enter the meditative state because of his headache. He could only follow Zhao Xu's instructions and lead the way with his consciousness. Time passed quickly under normal circumstances and 15 minutes would go by just like that. However, 15 minutes felt like an eternity to Zutui. This was especially so for the inflating pain in his head. Even though the pain was not extreme, he did not want to experience it again after every encounter. 15 minutes later, when the jumping numbers on the various machines had become stable and the life examination device had turned from red to green, and Zhao Saxui suddenly fell back onto the swivel chair. Zutui, who had become much more comfortable, looked over and saw Zhao Saxui, whose bangs were drenched in sweat, panting slightly. He suddenly had a strange feeling. The activity and reaction of the brainwaves injected into the body are 3 times that of the clone body. There are signs of life disruption. The intensity of the brainwaves is approaching the carrier limit. They will recede after 15 minutes. We have entered a safe state. While Huang's electronic voice made Zhao Saxui heave a sigh of relief, it also made her look confused. Why would there be such a change? There are no problems with the 2 clones. Huang, is there a problem with the genetic transcriptional fluid this time? Little Zhu, there are no problems. The only problem is that the difference in brainwave strength between the injected body and the cloned body is too great, Huang said. And Zhao Saxui was shocked. She turned around and looked at Zutui, who was panting heavily. That's not right. Even if his mind power had increased greatly during this period, it would not be 3 times that of the clone body. I have already considered this factor. How many genetic base points did you activate in the first level of the Mind Concentration Foundation Forging Technique, version 4.9? And Zhao Saxui suddenly asked. Zutui froze for a moment. He finally understood the reason. I've activated it all. And Zhao Saxui was shocked. What do you mean by that? I activated all of the 36 genetic base points in the first level, Zutui said. And Zhao Saxui froze. She had a look of disbelief. The 20 genetic base points you activated when you entered the school, are they all? The genetic base points you need to activate the first level? No, only 7 of them are. And Zhao Soxui once again became a little absent-minded. She then stared at Zhu Tui as if she had seen a ghost and asked, "How many points have you activated in the second level?" 2. More accurately, 2.5. So that's the problem. Fortunately, we have considered the factors that would affect the mind power of the main body and the clone body. However, the increase in your mind power is too great, resulting in enhanced side effects. Fortunately, now, wait for your body's reaction to absorb it. It will take about an hour. It'll tell you about the effects of the genetic transcriptional fluid after you are administered with the Black Crown Queen Bee, and Zhao Soxui said. The genetic transcriptional fluid of the Black Crown Queen Bee was one of the few species of agents that could promote the mutation of mind power that had been discovered. The inventor was none other than Shang Long. He was also the founder of Research Institute No. 14. Shang Long realized that in the era after the Black Crown Bees, where mind power had mutated, the population of the Black Crown Queen Bee was not as large as it was now. However, a population of hundreds of thousands was rarely seen, not to mention millions. He had many research subjects, so he researched them thoroughly. However, as the species of the queen bee became larger, the difficulty of capturing it increased. The growth period of the Black Crown Queen Bee also became longer, causing it to become rarer and more powerful.